the creative forces of natural selection. An overarching question of evolutionary biology is as follows. What are the creative forces of natural selection? One reliable and consistent answer is that natural forces are responsible for the origin of species, for accumulation of potentially useful variation, for the efficacy of diverse adaptations, and for the reproduction of complex biological organization in each generation. This answer extends throughout all domains of life and applies to the biological evolution of human beings as well. Although the inner workings of cells and cellular interactions were largely a black box to Darwin and his contemporaries, which he freely acknowledged, he was still able to articulate the theory of natural selection, which helps to explain many aspects of the inner workings of cells that were subsequently discovered. Natural selection is a principal and universal factor in biological organization and the origins of species and diverse adaptations. Therein lay his genius. Metaphorically, these natural forces can be viewed as trial and error on a grand scale throughout the living world. Darwin had a clear and scientific description for the key elements of the natural selective process, thoroughly grounded in empirical facts. Briefly, individuals inherit factors that determine the characteristics of each species, but those hereditary factors vary among the individual offspring in each generation. Each individual inherits a slightly different set of determinants during sexual reproduction. Darwin freely acknowledged that variation was a black box to 19th century biologists. Today, we would say that such variation consists of sets of alleles, slightly different DNA sequences inherited by the individual. Today, we also recognize that differences are not limited to sequences of DNA that determine the sequences of amino acids in proteins, but also include a variety of sequences that control the synthesis of those protein chains, which we collectively refer to as regulatory sequences.